Hi, friends. In my last video, I talked about how like all the things I did over the years that kind of led to me being in debt and kind of led to me always being broke. And I went through a whole list of just all the things that kind of contributed to that over my whole adult life. But in the last few years, I've really started to turn things around. And one of the ways that I did that was to try to start changing my mindset about money and about debt. And one of the ways I did that was kind of what I did in the last video, where I went over everything. Um, I went over everything that I was doing wrong, like my whole adult life. And that really started to affect the way I thought about money and debt. And it really changed how I looked at things. So, if you want to kind of change your mindset about money, I suggest you do the same thing. Like start looking back over your, whole adult life and write down everything that, contributed to, your money failures. And then once you do that, you'll start like making sure you never do those things again. And it will just kind of start to change your mindset. So that's one thing you could do to start turning things around. When I started making the list, it was really just kind of surprising to look at all those things and to look at all the failures and put like a monetary value to them, and then to think about like if that money had been saved or invested, you know what my life would look like today. And then that really just kind of changes the way you see things. It's really kind of shocking at first to have the whole list there in front of you and be like, wow, why did I do all that? Like, look how far that set me back. But it also kind of changes the way uh, you look at things going forward, because you're like, I'm never going to make those mistakes again. So try it out and just make your own list, and see how you feel afterwards. You might be kind of surprised to see it all right there, written down, and it might be a real eye opener for you. Another thing I did to that really changed the way I see things was, I'm sure you've heard this on other videos, where they tell you to go and look at your credit card activity for a month and just, add up every time you went to a restaurant or every time you bought something that was unnecessary. And um, that's kind of a shocker too. I suggest doing like the whole year, just log into your credit card account, look at all the activity for like a year, and add up add up. If you're bad about eating out in restaurants like I am, uh just add up every time you went to a restaurant and just look at that number for the whole year, and you'll probably be shocked. I was talking about this with my coworker the other day because she said she did the same thing, and she spent over $10,000 just eating at restaurants. And once you see that, like, you probably have in the back of your mind that it's not good, but once you actually see it and you see an actual number that goes with it, you will start to look at things differently, and you'll kind of feel like an idiot at first, but then it will really start to help you. So start making a list of all your financial failures over the years and write it down and start to think about the monetary value that's attached to each one of those failures. And it's kind of depressing at first, but I think it ultimately was helpful. And then, like I said, just start adding up the dollar amount of all your unnecessary spending over the last year. And that's also depressing at first, but I think it will help you. It helped me. It helped change the way I look at things. And so give it a try. Another thing that kind of helped change my mindset was just to think about all the things I can't do because I'm in debt. And one of those things is that, I can't really help out anybody, like anybody in my family or friends who are struggling because I'm struggling. Like, for example, my mom, she would do anything for any of her kids, but because I'm in debt, when she was struggling financially, she had a few unfortunate things happen, like all right in a row. I tried to help her the best that I could, but because I'm in debt and struggling myself, I couldn't do as much as I wanted. And it's not right that, I can't help my mom when she needs it. And it really bothers me. And so that's why I want to tackle this debt and get out of it. And, just thinking of things that you really want to be able to do that you can't do. Think of the people you want to help and you can't help them because you've got all this debt, and, kind of let that inspire you and motivate you to change things. So that's kind of that's something I think about, and it really motivates me. So that's another thing you can try to kind of change your mindset, is to really think about what's important to you, and what you want to do, and how it you're being held back by your debt. And I'm not just talking about things you want to buy, or you know I'm talking about things that are really important to you, um, that you can't do, like taking care of a family member, or going and visiting family that you haven't seen but you can't because you're in debt. I'm talking about important things like that, and you could make a list of that, and see if it motivates you to change things.